Hello viewers, welcome back to this NPTEL course on effective learning for professional development. In the last class, we were discussing about code of conduct, ethics, the type of ethics and its know hows, know how, know whys, everything about the ethics. So, to continue with that, then this is some of the this is the how it has been explained, whatever we have discussed, these are being explained in this tabular form. Now, the key takeaways here is that a clear code of ethics definitely helps the organizations, professionals to guide the decisions and in the organizational setup to guide the decisions when the legal and policy guidelines do not comply. So, that it so different types of codes are there, professional codes are there, organizational codes, role based codes, value driven codes are there that promotes the ethical clarity and accountability in the organizational setup. And by creating an effective code that involves defining the values, identifying the risk areas, engaging the teams, maintaining the regular updates, etc. These are very relevant in the organizational setup, and it also brings more focus and commitment and clarity to the professional, each and every professional and employee to perform their duty. And some of the real world examples from the industries and the professions also show that ethical principles are not just theoretical, but they shape the everyday actions of employees, build the trust, help the organizational developing the organizational work culture, positive work culture, all these things are there. So, this is the essence, that is the key takeaways of following the code of conduct and ethics, professional ethics, etc. Now, the another important component is also called the citizenship behavior and public engagements. So, all these things we are discussing in the organizational context, but at the same time every individual professional must know this, learn this, so that he or she can be more accomplished, more you can say more intelligent and more adaptable employee to any new organizations. So, similarly, citizenship behavior and public engagement. Citizenship behavior actually is in that citizenship behavior and public engagement are primarily interconnected. They play a crucial role in shaping the society, shaping the organization, shaping the workplace, developing the workplace culture. So, citizenship, when we say that we are the global citizens, that means we are committed to our global development, committed to global issues, committed to global challenges that we are facing. So, similarly, organizational citizenship behavior is every employee, they feel they own the organization, so they develop a kind sense of ownership, commitment towards that organization or the workplace or the employer. So, that is the citizenship behavior. It refers to the voluntary actions of the individuals that contribute to the effectiveness and efficiency of the public services, what they are supposed to do for their customers, what supposed to do for their stakeholders, what they are supposed to do for their public. Okay. And here two things are important. One is that effectiveness. In effectiveness, that means whatever you are delivering, whatever service you are providing, whatever product you are creating and selling it out, it must be highly effective, positive, constructive, effective. That is shows the impact. Impact is very high and positive. That is the effectiveness of the organizational performances. Another is the efficiency. Efficiency in dealing with the public, in delivering that that product, delivering that service. So, here automatically it comes to public engagements. So, while delivering the service, while delivering the product, selling the product, etc., and you are directly interacting with the public, so automatically your efficiency, level of competence and efficiency is also very impactful. So, in every organization business, two things are important. One is effectiveness, how effectively, positively, swiftly, with high impact you are performing that task, and efficiency with high competency, with high proficiency and competency. So, here in these two key words are very important in public engagement. Be whatever type of organization your organization is, whether you are service organization, manufacturing organization, what are any sort of organizations. So, public engagement, because it is very important and it involves active participation in all the public affairs, community services, advocacy, social justice, every sector. That is why citizenship behavior and public engagements are very interdependent, very integrated in that way. So, these behaviors are essential because for strengthening the democracy, strengthening the promoting the social cohesion, developing a positive work culture, or even to meet to face any kind of societal challenges. You might have observed in case of any calamities, any disaster, any can even in the for example in the COVID era, even in the land, any natural disaster, landslides or everything. So, all the people, irrespective of their individual differences, they come together, they rush to the spot and to help out the victims, etc. So, that creates a citizenship behavior. That is the in that particular that shows their level of degree of public engagement. So, it encompasses range of activities including voting, volunteering, participating in a community organizations, volunteering and attending all kinds of the campaign meetings, etc. So, engaging, and also they themselves engage themselves in the public discussion, participate. So, that is the public engagement, how skillfully, how competently, how judiciously you engage in the public platform, in the public activities. So, that is meant, it is like all of us, we have individual responsibility, professional responsibility, personal responsibility, as well as the social responsibility. So, this public engagement is the social responsibility. So, the ultimate goal is to improve the quality of life in the community, both in the political, non-political political processes. So, when we say that we are happy, we have to make sure that the neighborhood is also happy, our community is also happy. So, sustainability advocates that. Sustainability means not only individually in your personal life, individual life you are behaving or performing or following the sustainability practices, but in your locality, in your community, in your state, in your village, everywhere you must ensure that sustainability practices among the stakeholders. Nowadays, so many digital tools are available, and tools have transformed how the citizens engage in public life. Now you can say in the disaster, during that kind of any kind of chaos, any disaster, any crisis, some helpline numbers, some extra mobile numbers, telephone numbers, contact numbers, media becomes very active, very informative, and from time to time, giving the helpline or contact numbers to help the victims, etc. So, digital engagements are also nowadays also very active. So, in this context, especially in the emergency situation, etc., we have to be very alert, in the sense that media is very active. So many, that is why some trusted, we always try to follow trusted digital media, trusted government portals, and then social media, which are trusted things, because some of the miscommunication, wrong communications are coming up during the chaotic situation. So, digital engagement, digital transformation has helped us in addressing, in resolving these kind of things, but at the same time we have to be very alert about its authenticity. So, strategic litigation, so with the grassroots mobilization, advocacy can also influence this policy decision. With the increasing technology, digital development, etc., more and more rules, laws are also coming up. So, citizenship and civic engagements are to be very streamlined, because these two are very integral, and for the well-being of the society, well-being of the community, well-being of the individual, these are very essential for functioning in a very healthy democracy and very sustainable society. So, citizenship and civic engagement, public engagements are well integrated, but in order to strengthen their interaction, strengthen their reciprocal connection, so that we have to also look into the other resources, other like technology, digital platform, and how it can be more democratic, how it can be more collective, how it can be more rational, so that everybody should get the help. So, helplines for helping the people or the victims in the tragic situations. So, that is why citizenship and civic engagements are very integral, and for the well-being of the society, communities, etc. That is utmost, this should be handled, these policies, these things should be handled in utmost care and caution. So, now in this context, public engagement and the citizenship behavior, these concepts like citizenship, civicness, civility, these are the new concepts which defines further, like citizenship is the acts and action that the citizen from all the social groups they are doing through the through their participation, collective decision making process, like organizational citizenship, where all employees they feel together, they feel they are one, and they collectively they take decision. Civicness is that is the quality embedded in the institution. Civicness, we can do civic sense, when we say that civic sense, civicness, that it organization that stimulate to reproduce, cultivate the civility, that civic convenience, civic sense. So on the basis of for the solidarity and inclusiveness, that these are the guidelines mentioned for everybody. Everybody should follow these things. That is to establish the inclusiveness and solidarity. And civility is usually mentioned when talking about the virtues, good values, manners, etc. So civility is more of people practice in the relationship with others. For example, exhibiting tolerance, mutual respect, social concern, involvement, responsibility, volunteering yourself for any kind of help, any kind of help that a person seeks in the immediate situation. So all these are the civility, civics, but these are the different facets. These are different petals of the same the Citizenship Behavior and Public Engagement Act. Then so civic engagement, as we have already discussed, is the key feature. Civic engagement is the that public engagement, civic engagement is the key feature for all the policy development. Its patterns can vary across the policy fields, government to government levels and region, etc. But ultimately the theme, the focus, the value or the core theme is that that is how to enhance the civic engagement worldwide, so that not only one group volunteering for this, but all the people, all the stakeholders, all the public, they are equally aware of all these, of their duties. When we say that our duties and responsibility, and it should be disseminated worldwide. So that, because automatically when we talked about the governance, administration, judiciary, justice, etc., automatically all these things comes in: civic engagement, sense of responsibility, social responsibility, etc. Ultimately all these kind of thing, participatory activity, voluntary activity, it helps in promoting the good governance within the organization, outside the organization, within the country, in any state level company, also everywhere. So citizens engage in activities in multiple ways, including volunteering, public participation, activism, community support, etc. And fostering, that primary goal is to foster the inclusiveness, making the community more livable, comfortable, sustainable, etc. Now in this organization, when this citizenship behavior exhibits prominently in the organization, that is called the organizational citizenship behavior. OCB is a very important topic in the organizational behavior and industrial psychology research, where it refers to the voluntary action of the employees. When the OCB is there, the degree of OCB is there among the employees, that means the employees, they are not only committed to their own organization, they own the organization. They think that it is my home, my work, my workplace, my organization. That owning that organization promotes the feeling of citizenship behavior. So they are very willing to go beyond the timeline, go beyond the risk, beyond the boundary, beyond the beyond the, you can say, protocol, beyond. So that means they are highly motivated to, and they have a kind of affiliation, strong affiliation, sense of ownership to contribute in every respect towards that, to enhancing the brand image, to enhance the performance, enhance the effectiveness and efficiency of their organization, because they own it. So that is with the owning, the high affiliation and owning sense of ownership, that helps in developing organizational citizenship behavior. So primarily in public sector, usually in OCB is particularly significant, as it can enhance the quality of public services, improve the organizational performance, and fosters positive work environment. Primarily we can observe some of the examples of the corporate houses, where some of the that means their leaders, their CEOs, they stay for the long time in that organization, that company, because they have a sense of ownership of that company. So they don't want to easily leave the organizations. So these kind of leadership quality, this kind of OCB, these kind of things, primarily we see in the collectivist culture. Where the group, we give more credit, more priority, more value to the collectiveness, collective or cooperative outcome, collaborative work, collective effort of every employee. So that is why it becomes very important, that kind of. So there is a link here, you can go on later on for exploring more. This is, you can say, this is the framework, that is citizenship behavior. Citizen is rights and responsibility, that is the citizenship deals with that. Civicness is institutional conditions, civicness, that defines institutional condition. Civility is the normative and ethical framework. And civic engagement is that how actively, respectfully the people are engaged in the environment, and then how to what extent the work culture is inclusive, and society encourages societal engagement. So these are the four, you can say, the four pillars, and when they intersect with each other, interact with each other, so there are some of the activities like negotiation with regard to rights and positions, that also happens, stimulating some of the ethics and community cohesion, ethical respectable participation, and claiming the rights and reproducing the citizenship. In the intersection of all these four domains. So these are the outcomes where it becomes more polished, the rules and regulations becomes more polished, more clear, it brings clarity in the workplace. So OCB, as you know, that is the voluntary, every employee volunteers himself to go beyond the boundary, beyond the timeline, everything to contribute more significantly for the overall effectiveness and efficiency of the organizations. So that is why OCB is particularly significant when in public sector, when you have the greater amount of the public engagement. So it would definitely, OCB is very much necessary, because it enhances the quality of public services, organizational performance, and it also enhances the public participation, foster a positive work environment. So the drivers of OCB primarily depends on the leadership, organizational culture, employee motivation, management. So these are the key factors for enhancing that sense of OCB. And effective leadership, collaborative leadership, and innovative culture, work culture, and intrinsic, the employee is intrinsically motivated to stay there, to work together. Like, so many people, they say that we like the Google workplace, because Google has given that liberty, that facility, that values that it carries. So many people, many youngsters, their aspiration is to work in the Google, because they love the work culture of the Google. Similarly, every individual, every professional can also select. So the outcomes of the OCB definitely in the delivering the public service very promptly, effectively, more employee engagement, job satisfaction is also very high, and automatically all these factors combined together or taken together, it will enhance, promote the organizational work culture or the reputation, that will directly help in enhancing the reputation and brand image of the company. So the importance of the OCB in public sector, primarily nowadays, like for example, often we say that in some of the government sector, still we are having that bureaucratic structure, just like the Britishers, they have left us and like that. So it has to be changed. Bureaucratic structure is that organizational structure, very hierarchical, position bound, etc. So where there is less in organizational work culture, what happens, that in highly structured organization, it brings barricades, it hinders the natural flow of the work, natural innovation, creative thoughts, or the responsiveness of the citizens' needs, or the reciprocation or interpersonal relationships. So that is why in public sectors which are highly structured, hierarchically structured, bureaucratic structure, it has to be implemented very seriously, that is to mitigate all these challenges, like primarily hierarchical challenges, structural challenges, interpersonal challenges, to promote the work culture, to make it more flexible, to make it more humane, more responsive, more collaborative, so that we can engage people in the OCBs to not only enhance the business practices and productivity and outcomes also, but to enhance the sustainability and the brand image of the company. So how can we engage the OCB in public sector companies? Like for example, by improving the service delivery and responsiveness, how quickly you serve. Now that is a customer service is nowadays in the business organizations, customer service is the most important. Okay, so improve the service delivery, quick and prompt action, responsiveness. Whenever the complaint is coming up, you quickly address it. Responsiveness towards your citizens, towards your customers, enhance the organizational performance and efficiency. 24/7, 365 days, organization should work on enhancing enhancing its efficiency and effectiveness day by day. No organization should sit down complacently that yes, we are already an established company, we don't care a bit. No, every organization should work 24/7, 365 days for improving continuously improving its work culture, its performance, its efficiency, and moreover the HR efficiency, etc. To foster a positive work environment, employee engagement, promote the work culture of innovation, continuous improvement, and give the free hand to the employees, to come out with their out of the box some ideas, and give them the opportunity to experiment on it, to come up with a new idea, etc. There should not be any, that means should not be any threat. So job security should be there. All these kind of HR, that is why HR policies are very very important even in this crucial time of competition and global laying off of the employees. But HR policies are the most important things. That is where now day by day HR is also HR practices, things, HR practices, resources. It is becoming very tough for the organizations, getting the right kind of people, and with complying the or addressing to the grievances of the stakeholders, citizens, consumers, etc. At the same within the organization, within the workplace also, to address each and every issue of the employees. So HR task has become very tough in nowadays in this post, that means in the globalized era. So organizational culture definitely plays a significant role, and it's a combination of all kinds of things. Okay, so it's a combination of cultural factors are there, and the collaborative work culture should be there. Encourage the teams to work and cooperate. Innovative culture should be there. Employee centric culture should be. All these types of things should be embedded in the organizational culture. So cohesiveness, cultural, that means cultural diversity, innovation, employee centric, all these things. So this work culture, that is a key cultural factors that influence OCB. These are the thing. Cultural factor, that is description. Now is every organization they have, that means they have the protocol of being equal, everything irrespective of their gender, race, ethnicity, etc. All of them. So that is why now there is many companies, organizations, they have introduced this dress code. Okay, so being a professional, you have to be how to maintain that equality, sense of equality, by introducing some of the cultural practices. Then collaborative culture, that is encourage the teamwork to work, cooperate and work with each other. Innovative culture, foster their creativity, give them the chance to experiment on their own ideas, sponsor them, finance them, all kinds of things, so that and give them some liberty and free time to think of new ideas. So that kind of privilege would also be given there. So employee centric culture is more of pro people, pro employee kind of. Employee and employee well-being has become the most important factor for the organizations. So in this context, when this OCB increases, so organizational OCB, now it's directly related to organizational performance, but in between, that is the employee engagement, that HR component is very important. OCB has the direct impact on organizational performance, but employee engagement, employee well-being, because it mediates that process. Enhances that practices. If employee engagement, motivation, everything is very high, then automatically the organizational performance or outcome will be very high. So all these things about that, how OCB can improve the public service delivery, improve the service quality, responsiveness, positive outcomes, all these things we have already discussed. It improves the service delivery and responsiveness to citizens, enhance organizational performance and efficiency, foster the very creative, positive work environment, employee engagement, employee motivation, job satisfaction, promote a culture of innovation, continuous improvement, commitment, all these things. Now we are coming to the developing sustainability competences of UN SDGs. Now since 2015 onwards, all of you must have known about the UNESCO's declaration of 17 sustainable development goals, and how it should be achieved by every country by 2030. So by 2030, to ensure that all the learners acquire the knowledge and skills needed to promote the sustainable development in their respective domains, and education plays a very important role through education for sustainable development, or you can say learning for sustainability, sustainable lifestyle, human rights, gender equality. These are the key words which plays a very vital role. Promotion of the culture of peace, non-violence, global citizenship, appreciation of cultural diversity. These are some of the key words that has been emphasized again and again to enable the society, each and every society, every country, to achieve it by 2030. So, now in this process the not only the literature review, many research activities are also going on. So, out of rigorous research and literature review and 17, some of the researchers also they have come up with UNESCO researchers, they have also come up with some of the sustainability competence. What are the key competences that help us in enabling us to achieve that SDGs. Sustainability competence, primarily they have categorized into 8 kind of sustainability competence, which are very crucial, very critical for achieving this SDGs. So, sustainability competences primarily are characterized by competencies that enable that we have to develop, all the citizens they have to develop those competencies that will enable them forward looking and autonomous co-creation of sustainable development. We must have the far vision, futuristic vision for a for integrating sustainability in our day-to-day activities, for taking care of our ecosystem, for for thinking of our future, how to rescue, how to protect, how to protect our future. So, for the future, save the planet for the future generation, all these things, that so that these 8 competencies have been emphasized. So, education for sustainable development, that is called as the ESD, and it has been clearly mentioned in sustainable development goal 4, that is SDG target 4.7. okay. It prioritizes primarily following these 8 types of competencies. These are called the sustainability competences. So, these are the researchers who have worked with UNESCO on these things. Now, what are these sustainability competencies? First is that systems thinking competencies. What is system thinking competencies? That every professional, every stakeholder, every citizen, they must develop this systems thinking competency. So, what is systems thinking competency? The ability to recognize, understand the relationship, to analyze the complex system. Like for example, we in India, we have the different political system. In every state there is a kind of governance. In every state there is a culture, there is a cultural practices, linguistics. So, that means how the whole system functions. That is, in order to understand those things, how the system runs, how the organization runs, how the business houses runs, to understand that nuances, that is called the systems thinking. Like the ability to recognize and understand the interrelationship among the various stakeholders, among the various vital key factors, how the business houses runs, that is the business, understand the business system. Similarly, in the society, in the state, in the governance, to ability we can quickly, by observing, reflecting, by analyzing, etc., we need to understand that whole system, how it functions. Okay. To understand how the systems are embedded within the different fields on different scales, and to deal with the uncertainty. Like in every state, every country, every locality, everything. So, we have there some embedded features are there. They have a specific culture, some ethos, some some resources available, some degree of relationship among the stakeholders, the values, the beliefs, the type of resources available, the type of job. So, and what are the uncertainties they are facing. Like for example, when we talk about, suppose a community in Japan in a community, or maybe that in any tribal community in the remote area in our country. So, how we have to before venturing into or proposing any kind of intervention, etc., we need to understand how they work, how they relate, how they function, how they operate. Similarly, to systems thinking competency says that we need to understand how the whole system functions. Okay, how any educational system, any university, any government, how the government runs, how the institution runs, how the organization runs. That is the holistic, understanding the holistic systems, patterns, and embedding interrelated fields of work, and at what level they are performing, what is their level of performing, what is the challenges they are facing, what is the risk they are facing in every day, what are the services they are providing. So, what are their engagements, everything. That is how the whole system functions. That is to understand this interrelationship, to understand how the complex system, how the system runs. So, that is the analyze the complex system. Then anticipatory competence is that ability to understand and evaluate the multiple future. After understanding the whole system, then we start making assumptions or anticipate certain things. Anticipatory competences, that is we start understanding and evaluating multiple futures, like what could be the possible future, what could be the probable risk, what could be the desirable things, to create our own vision for the future, or to apply any precautionary principle, or to introduce any kind of intervention, or to take the action for to deal with the disasters and the risks, disasters and the challenges. So that is, we after understanding the whole system, then we start anticipating, as making assumptions, making predictions. That is the anticipatory competence. But and to how accurately, only after understanding the system only we can accurately map it, we can accurately judge it. So that is, we have to develop the anticipatory competence. Then thereafter the normative competence. Normative competence is that that ability to understand and reflect on the norms and the values that underline one's action, and to negotiate sustainability values and the principles and the goals. Like what is the normal practices, like in a village area, in a rural area, in a remote area, we need to understand what is the normal practices, how do the people behave, how do they carry on their day to day activity, how they lead their livelihood, how what type of jobs they are doing it, whether it is the fisherman community, or whether it is the tribal community, whether it is agriculture community, farmers community. That is the what is the norm in a particular locality, in the particular. So ability to understand, reflect on the norms and the values the stakeholders are following, and they are engaged in, what type of actions they are engaged in, and how willing, to what extent they are willing to negotiate with the sustainability values and principles and goals. That is the things. So like if you are trying to introduce some sustainability principles, values and goals, how much, to what extent they are willing to negotiate with that thing. So in this in case of any conflict, or any conflict of interest, or any trade offs or uncertainty, etc. So before when introducing any kind of intervention, etc., or imposing any kind of sustainability laws, rules and practices, etc., we need to understand the norms of their behavior, their practices. That is called the normative competences. Then thereafter comes the strategic competence. Now looking into the whole scenario, everything, etc. So now strategic competence is the ability to collectively develop and implement the innovative action. Thereafter, after thinking, planning, understanding everything, then strategically we have to put forth the ability to collectively develop. Like we have to negotiate with the stakeholders, we have to negotiate with the people. So to collectively do something, we cannot impose. The ability to collectively develop, to that means by taking their willingness to through negotiation, etc., so that we can implement some innovative actions, both at the local level, or maybe we can also plan for the future level. So with that requires the strategic competence. Instantly we cannot introduce or push them towards following certain guidelines. So that is strategic competence after negotiating, collectively negotiating with them, collectively developing and implementing the innovative actions. Okay. Then thereafter collaborative competence. Collaborative competence, then how to collaborate, the ability to learn from others and to understand and respect their needs, perspectives, that needs perspectives and action for others. Like suppose we have developed certain strategies, etc., but it should not go against their well-being, their comfort, their convenience. So here collaborative competence, collaboratively, that in partnership, with empathy, with compassion, with leadership, etc., we have to deal with the existing conflicts that still exist, persist, and help them out to facilitate in solving that problem. So here collaborative competence darkar. After strategic competence, then we need to collaborate. How strategically we can collaborate with them, and we can, because we have to not only acknowledge but respect their needs, their perspectives, their actions, and we have to take action through empathy, through compassion, through through leadership, etc., to deal with, to handle, and we say, when we say that, to handle with care the conflicts, the issues, the grievances, the any kind of unrest, anything, we have to handle with care, so that we can facilitate the collaborative engagement, participatory problem solving process. So all these things, collaborative competence. Then comes the critical thinking competence. After doing something, after bringing reform, etc., etc., now here the question is that how to ask the questions, ability to ask, to question the norms, practices, the opinions, to reflect on one's own values, perception, etc. Now then, how can we help them out to empower the people or stakeholders, then, and to empower them, to help them out to acknowledge, to reflect, and they can themselves question on their own norms, practices and opinions, to reflect on their own practices, values, etc., and how they are performing, what are their perception, how it differs from others, how whether sustainable or unsustainable these actions are there or not, and how to follow up, how to carry forward the sustainability discourse for the future. So, then the critical thinking competence, that means to help the stakeholders, to educate the stakeholders, to engage the stakeholders in critical thinking and reflective practices and critical thinking, so that they themselves they will own the responsibility, they will be empowered to carry forward this sustainability discourse for the future. Self-awareness competence, primarily its ability to reflect on every citizen reflect on one's own role in the local community or in the global community, global society, what I am supposed to do, what is my role, what is my duty, what is my social responsibility, to continuously evaluate one's own stand, own action. So, it can happen to any citizen, it can happen to any professional, it can happen to any individual. That is when I am starting developing my self awareness, what I am doing, whether it is sustainable or unsustainable, whether I am doing the right thing as a local participant, what I am supposed to do. So, we can enhance the awareness of our roles, responsibilities, and so that we can continuously evaluate our own action and can move forward in the right direction. Then integrated problem solving competences, like sometimes what happens in some society, there are multiple problems, and all these problems are so chronic, so critical, that they are integrated, so closely integrated, and they have developed a complex problem issue in that society. So, that is, we have to understand what are the key factors, what are the key issues. It is not just one issue, it is not just one factor, it is the multiple factors intersecting with each other, clashing with each other over the years. Okay. So, to understand that integrated problem, then thereafter that complex sustainability problems, why the unsustainability is to its height, because many factors, causal factors are there. What are the cause and effect relations, what are the multiple factors? We have to first diagnose it, dissect it, to understand the whole thing, then thereafter to apply the different problem solving framework for different sustainability problems. One solution cannot cater to the multiple problems, but different problem solving frameworks for different types of sustainability performance. For one, maybe water resources, for water scarcity, one problem, it is a problem because of we have to sort out through one type of problem solving framework. Same energy is an energy problem is there, for that solving an energy problem also we have to sort out another framework develop. Similarly, maybe in terms of equality, inclusiveness, parity, bringing all these kind of things, we have to again develop another problem solving framework. So, through developing multiple problem solving frameworks and with the competence of integrating all these multiple frameworks to solve the chronic and very complex sustainability problems. Okay. So, these are the 8 sustainability competences every individual, every citizen should develop within themselves, so that we not only we individually be sustainable, but our planet our country, our earth can become more sustainable very quickly. So, however, ESD, this education for sustainable development, is not limited to only the development of the competences, but also to transform our education system by bringing the reforms in our education system, bringing the reform transformative learning in our curriculum, content to be developed accordingly sustainability, how sustainability can be embedded in the curriculum, and transformation of the individual self and our relationship to the individual self with the world, and even observing the whole generation impact both locally, globally, etc. So, for that, what type of in order to bring that transformation or 360-degree positive transformation, what we are supposed to do in our education, in our workplace, in our community, in our neighborhood, in our energy system. So, we have to think of. So, ESD is not just limited to developing all these things, but these are the beginning steps, initial you can say initial competencies or initial strategies, that can help us in carry forwarding these all these things, global problems, visual problems. So, but to begin with, How can we develop these competencies? Yes, definitely education. We have to bring transformation in our education system. How sustainability can be embedded in the curriculum, in the campus, in the culture, in the environment, in the ecosystem, everywhere. So that is, then only we can bring transformation in the, or you can quickly achieve, you can achieve the sustainable development goals at the earliest level, earliest stage. So these are some of the 17 SDGs. SDGs are there. These are some of the links where you can go through in details. Many things, many literature, many research outcomes are there. So how integrating this core sustainability, again every competency, all these 8 competencies are sustainability competencies there. Within that competencies also, each and every competency also, there are some meta competencies. Okay. So integrating the core sustainability meta competencies, meta or minor micro competencies within one, like suppose strategic thinking, strategic competencies. Within that also so many meta small micro competencies are there. So how to embed these meta competencies in the core sustainability area? So integrating the core sustainability meta competencies and SDGs across the curriculum and the professional development program, be it the curriculum in the educational institution from the school level itself, primary school level, primary level, or be it in the workplace also. Okay. So we have to effectively embed it, like in the HR training, HR training, professional training, technical training, domain training, etc. We can also, how we can embed it, these meta competencies, and even in the curriculum also. So an effective sustainability curriculum is deliberately constructed with the aim to graduate the students, help the students to be the change catalyst, to be the change agents of the society. So the key framework is primarily the key framework and world view to build upon this ethics of care for self, others, and environment, or nature, and the knowledge. So the basic ethics of this framework is how to develop it, to take care, basic value system of ethics of taking self care, care for others, care for environment, care for nature, and acquisition of the knowledge. So the key elements of these effective curriculum design to be sustainability meta competency. The further development is that now sustainability competencies are that, but to how quickly we can say, now how quickly we can achieve it, then again we have to develop a curriculum for sustainability meta competencies. How these meta competencies can be embedded in the curriculum, content, textbook, practices, etc., and through different kinds of pedagogies like case studies, surveys, experiential learning, many things, etc. At the same time also, the latest research development in this domain is that now a group of researchers, they are also focusing on, when in the curriculum we are focusing on how to introduce the meta competencies, sustainability meta competencies, but individually also how can we focus on the individual professional development, individuals inner development. So they are also focusing on inner development goals. So every citizen, every stakeholder, every individual should also be developed, and he must also learn about his own inner goals. So inner development goals are also equally being emphasized, because each and every, before going to serve the community, before doing or achieving the higher goal of sustainability development, or achieving the meta competencies, there it has to be embedded in the curriculum. But every individual must learn about his own self, that is inner, how can we invest more time and resources to develop our inner growth, to develop our inner self, personality, our mindset, our attitude, our behavior and skills. That is called the inner development goals are also more important, and a group of researchers also, they are also advocating and working on this. So while articulating the design of the professional development work, like for example, so from time to time, both in social media and in the institutional level, online, offline, many workplace many workshops are MDPs workshops are going on, are being done, are being taken care of or taken place of. So primarily focusing on all these workshops are designing the professional development workshops, primarily focusing on theoretical approach, or following this theoretical approach in ethics of care, domain based theory of moral development, and they are focusing on sustainability learning, core meta competencies, and professional development faculty, staff, teachers, sustainability across the curriculum, how it can be embedded, then eco-literacy for the staff development, sustainability learning competency, system and temporal thinking, then intrapersonal literacy, emotional intelligence, ethical literacy, creativity, and then imagination competencies, metacognition, awareness, assessment, evaluation. All these things are also being emphasized on, and how these are being stakeholders, citizens, individuals, professionals, they are being educated, they are being made aware of all these things through the workshops and the programs. See, these are some of the clippings. These are some of the clippings that is it follows the sustainability global report. The reports are there. So these are some of the clippings regarding the SDG 4, and so now then how to develop sustainability competence. So I am just stopping it here. Now this part we will discuss in the last class. Thank you very much.